What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So for months now, we have been hearing that the American people keep saying the same thing, that our government giving the American people stimulus, then taking it away, taking it back through taxes and inflation was the biggest waste ever. But I want to get your thoughts on this as well. You can comment down in the comment section below. But in January, a consumer survey from the Federal Reserve of New York, it stated that the 1 year ahead inflation expectations, they actually fell for the first time since October 2020. This is very good news. Now, the expectation is that inflation will be at 5.8%. We're currently at 7.5%, so that would obviously be a little bit of a drop. But the Federal Reserve, they want us to be at just 2.5%. So it's a long ways away. But we are seeing that the consumer expectation is falling, which is great news. Now, everybody is going to feel the effects of inflation. We know this. However, not everybody is going to feel the same pain. That's the problem. Now, when dealing with inflation, it actually hurts one group harder than any others. What we're seeing and what we've seen in the past is lower income earners are the ones most heavily impacted by this. And the reason is simple. Lower income earners are heavily impacted by inflation because the majority of their income is spent on things like rent, food, utilities, and essentials. I want to show you this. Let's say you have $100. Great. That's awesome. You have $100. But what happens when you spend your money? Okay? It goes away. Well, let's use that same $100. And I want to just kind of give you an idea of why lower income households are affected even more. Look at this. Same $100. I broke it up. Let's see if the camera will zoom in on that. There you go. So if you look at that, rent is about 50%. Then after rent, you got food. Then you got utilities. Then you have essentials. At the very end, clear over here, you have less than 10% that goes towards other things. Maybe savings or investments or the next month's bills. Now, just so that you know, this is not a real $100 bill. You can see on the back, if my camera zoom in, motion picture use only. Now, no, I would not color on a real $100 bill. So, with that said, during times of high inflation, essentials are the last things that really see a decrease in price. And it's easy to understand why. They are essential. We need those. And so when it comes to the supply and demand, if people are all demanding the exact same things, guess what? Prices go up. Now, with other items like luxury items and travel, clothing, these things, they don't go up as much because these are non-essential. So what you need to keep in mind is if you are a lower income household or even a middle income household, just understand that if you can break up your money a little bit, right? Most people, they pay about 50%. 50% of their money goes to rent automatically. 50% right out the door. There you go. Okay. So you got your whole $100 bill. Okay. 50% right here gone. Just because of rent, your mortgage, things like that. That's a huge cost. It's a huge burden. But here's what you need to keep in mind. Now, it's very good news that inflation is already expected to drop. The only bad news is it's still up over 5%. Now, and it's going to be up over 5% probably for some time. But here's the reason why I bring this up. I say this is good news because it's expected to drop, okay? The consumer sentiment is a huge driving indicator. For instance, and in just a minute, I'm going to give you some advice on what to do to try to get ahead of this. But it's a huge driving indicator. For instance, when somebody believes something's going to cost more in the future, they buy beforehand. Okay? Let's say I have this bottle of water right here. Okay? Let's say it's going to cost me $100 for this one bottle of water. if it cost me $100 today, but I know it's going to cost me $200 next month, when do you think I'm going to buy it? Probably today, right? Now, obviously, the numbers don't add up, but you get the picture. Now, when prices eventually tick up, and this water bottle does cost $200, for me personally, I'm gonna think, oh, I got a killer deal. I spent half of that when I bought it last month. So guess what? I'm thinking, okay, I saved some money. I'm doing really well. But here's the truth. The truth of the matter is the price of this water bottle went up, not because I bought it or I was assuming it's gonna go up. The reason it went up is because I thought it was going up, so I bought it today, and the additional sales caused it to go up. That's the reason why. So when consumer expectations fall, which they are, prices will eventually fall as well, because consumers are thinking, oh, if I buy this water bottle today for $100, but in a month, the expectation is it's only gonna be $50, it's gonna be half, why would I buy it today? Why wouldn't I wait and buy it in a month? And that's when we see inflation start to tick down. And that's where things really start to benefit the American people and people with lower incomes and even middle income households. So in times like this, there's a few things that you need to do, okay? First thing that you need to do, you need to eliminate unnecessary expenses. These are memberships, subscriptions for apps, maybe TV or extra channels, right? Eliminate those things. You don't need it. The next thing, cut back on spending. Maybe instead of paying for 50% of your rent or mortgage, right? Maybe you can cut back on spending by renting out a room. Maybe you can maybe you don't need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. You just need a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Well, go get that if you can find it, right? Cut back. The next thing is buy more generic grocery products. Don't buy the big brands, right? Buy the more store brands, more generic. They're cheaper, and they usually are just as effective or just as good. Something else is drive less. Possibly carpool. Now, in a recent study, this is not one that I did, but in a recent study that was conducted, it says that if you carpool in a group of 4 people, that's the magic number is 4 people. You would actually reduce your expenses by 75%, right? Because you got 4 people, and you're only driving a quarter of that time, so 25%, which means the other 75% is reduced. You don't pay that, right? So if you normally spend $200 a month for driving, this would actually save you $150 every month because you are saving 75%. Over the course of a year, that is $1,800 a year in savings. The typical family pays between $1,300 to $1,600 for rent or an apartment, right? Well, that means over the course of a whole year, you're gonna have pretty much 1 month paid for in your rent or your mortgage because you pretty much just carpooled for the entire year. How great is that? So cutting back on expenses, it's a great way to do that. And this is probably the most important thing. This is something I tell people all the time, is it's easier to make more money than to keep cutting your expenses, because eventually you're gonna feel that. So one of the things that I am a big believer in is creating an additional income source. That's something that I've been doing ever since I was 18 years old. I've been trying to figure out more ways to make money. Okay, whether it was, I had a friend in high school, just to give you a little bit of an idea. I had a friend in high school. He sold handmade tortillas on Saturday mornings. And this was enough for him to pay his car payment every single month. So again, he wasn't the one making the tortillas. It was his mom that was making the tortillas, and he would help her sell, but she would give him a cut, and it was enough every single month to pay his car payment. I had another friend that would go and sell tortillas, or not tortillas, tamales. And he'd do this at soccer games and sporting events, and just different things at the park, different gatherings, and he did really well. You can do things like fixing up furniture and selling it on Craigslist or Facebook. You can get free items on Craigslist and Facebook. You can go to garage sales, and they a lot of times will have like a box of free stuff. Go at the very end and just tell them, hey, if you want to save all this stuff, You pay me $50, I will box it all up for you and I will stick it in your garage, right? And it takes you a couple hours, make 25 bucks an hour, there you go. How many garage sales are there every single weekend? Probably dozens, right? You can sell stuff on eBay. You can go mow lawns, wash cars. You can go look on YouTube, okay? I don't know if I can bring it up here, but one of the things you can do is you get a can of spray paint. Get a can of spray paint, get the little stencils for like numbers. Get 0 through 9 and go around to houses and let them know, hey, I see that your house number is fading away on the curb. For $10, $15, whatever you want to charge, I will actually go out to the curb. I will respray paint your numbers in whatever colors you want, black, white, whatever, right? I will go and do that for you. It'll take about 10, 15 minutes. I'll be out of your way. What do you think? And a lot of people do this, okay? You could actually make a living going around spray painting curbs, legally, of course. Spray paint the curbs and put the numbers on them for that house. So just a few different ideas there for you guys if you want to get started. But right now, inflation is kind of at that inflection point. Does it keep going up? Does it go down? One thing I can tell you is the best way to combat this entire thing is to just make more money. Just make more money. I know it sounds easier than it is, but you can do it. If you have questions, let me know your questions down in the comment section below. But again, hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this gives you an idea of what we're expecting moving forward and what you should be doing right now to be prepared for what is coming. So again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video helped you out in some way. If it did, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.